So I thought it'd be fun to do a little pros and cons video of owning a marine business. It's not quite a store yet, although it's opened up as a store and people can come and go and buy stuff, and that's how it is. But, I mean, and there's lots of fish. There's more fish there. And there's snails and inverts and there's coral. So, there's lots of pros, lots of cons. Overall, there's more pros because otherwise, if there wasn't, I wouldn't be doing it, you know? So, you know. Yeah, I've done so many videos over the last few days of like unboxings and talking about other stuff, and the quality's never been there. I'm making a new intro at the moment, which might be in this video. If it is, you saw it. But I feel like I need to just up my quality a bit. It has been a bit dodgy, but yeah, I've been busy, been very, very busy, especially after the whole disease debacle with the rack system. But now I have 1,000 liters of QT over here, and then another 400 there, so it's all good. And everything gets 1 week observation before being sold properly, even though they come from my QT supplier. It's good. It's very good. Everything's so happy and healthy. Like, you can tell happy, healthy fish by just the way that they act. Like, when I was getting that disease through here, even though fish weren't showing signs, you could tell something was wrong. They weren't as active, happy, acting natural. These fish just go. They just act natural. I think I'll start with my favorite pro. And that's, I get to see so many different animals, corals, and I get the opportunity to keep those as well because they're coming into my shop. So definitely a benefit there with being able to see so many different things. Like, I got some what they're called sauron shrimp in this tank here. Never seen them before. My dog's barking. Why is my dog barking? I don't know what he was barking at. Anyway, so now he's in here with me. So yeah, I get to see so many things, and then with this kind of leads on to the next benefit that I thought of, and I get all that stuff cheap because I do pay for it, because paying for it is how the business stays. Yeah, I'm not just taking free stuff necessarily, unless it's for a display tank or something for the shop. But I get that stuff cheap, so it's easy. And I can get bulk quantities of things. I'm spoiled for choice. The other benefit is actually just seeing other reefers. I really like talking with other reefers, seeing how they go about things, seeing how they have tackled the challenge of keeping a reef tank, and what they've done with their tank. They decided how to do their tank to how they wanted, which is not every tank is the same, which is part of why this hobby is so interesting. In the freshwater hobby, to a degree, not every tank is the same, but I tend to find that a Tetra tank will look the same no matter whose place it's at. Like 10 neon Tetras in a tank. But and you can have the same with saltwater tanks too. 2 clowns and a rock. That's a thing. But there's definitely more variety. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but another benefit is I'm never bored. There's always something to do. There's always coral to frag or move around. There's always testing to do. There's fish to watch. Just feed. Enjoying the animals. It's never boring. So part of why this job is so engaging is probably that. Just there's always so much. You're not just looking at the same product on a shelf every day. So another pro is, it's more of a pro to the hobby than it is to a specific shop, but in my case it can be applied. You get to see so many different animal personalities, because you take home your blue tang, your clownfish, and you're usually stuck with them for however long. I get to see hundreds of blue tangs, hundreds of clownfish, and hundreds of other fish, and it's genuinely so interesting to see all the different personalities of fish. Like we have a purple tang at the moment that is the most aggressive purple tang I've ever seen. For it's this big, and yet it's like it thinks it's this big, you know. Purple tangs I know can be aggressive, but that one is just in particular really aggressive. But then there's my purple tang in my main display, Shaggy. He's called Shaggy because he's like a stoner. He does nothing. A new fish entered this tank and he's just, that's not food. I'm gonna go back over here. Yeah. So the last thing is it just fuels my hobby. That's like, I think I already said that one, but you know. Anyway, onto the cons. The cons. The first one that comes to mind is what happened when I just walked in here this morning. Is this. This always mess. I just got the fish order in last night. There's a those are from the fish order yesterday, and I have to clean up. But there's 5 styrofoam boxes and then a bunch of plastic bags that I'm doing. I'm gonna get there. So yes, the cleaning. My God, salt gets everywhere. Salt is in places that I didn't realize they could get to. Like, how did salt get on my rack that is like 5 meters away from any tank? The next con is, there's a saying that when you turn your hobby into a job, it ceases to be a hobby and ceases to be enjoyable. I haven't found that because my mindset and mentality is always to be a hobbyist first, business owner second. I don't know, I haven't lost the passion for the hobby. If anything, it's grown more. One of my favorite things is helping people succeed in the hobby. If I can see you have a fantastic, amazing tank, that will make me, you know, happy. I love doing the maintenance side of things. Like, I got maintenance jobs to do soon, in an hour. And I love making sure people succeed because, well, one, it brings them back here, and so that they can buy more coral and fish to fill their tank because they're succeeding. But that's not why I do it. I do it first and foremost so they can have a pretty tank and appreciate it. And not waste their money. That's the one thing I hate the most, is when people will get wrong advice and spend money that in the end they have to spend a lot more money to fix the issue because of that bad advice. It breaks my heart when I go to a new client and I say, oh, you need to get a new wave maker, you need to get new this, new that, maybe buy some of this, buy this, and it's just the money, the list goes on, and I'm just like, I don't know any other way to do this, I'm sorry, but if you had done it this way to begin with, you would have saved yourself $1,000. It breaks my heart because money is not, you know, just throw it away. It's genuinely something that some people really struggle to have. And this hobby, while it can be cheap, I've seen people do very cheap. My partner isn't a good example. Yes, she has the benefit of a marine store, but the stuff she's chosen and how she's done it is very cheap. But this hobby can also be very expensive. So yeah, I forgot what the con I just said was, but whatever. The other con, electricity. we don't talk about the electricity bill. Moving on. The other con is the noise. I am so glad I decided to set this up in the garage and not in the main house or anything like that, because until I fix the piping, actually, it's way quieter in here. I can actually hear myself think. It used to be really bad, but it's still not, like, there's about 7 air pumps going off for copepods and phytoplankton. There's those air pumps going off. There's like 6 different motors of pumps. There's a lot. So the noise. In saying that though, when I lose power, I can tell immediately because it's suddenly very quiet. I know when something's wrong. I walked in here one day and I didn't even notice anything. but one of the pumps for the rack system had turned off. A cat or something knocked the cord. I don't know what happened. But I walked in and immediately went, it's too quiet. Immediately found out that it was that. So, yeah, that's fun. The other con is, while there are so many good people in this hobby, I do unfortunately see the bad. I will see people who don't care for the animals, people who will buy stuff knowing that it's gonna die and just for like 1 week of enjoyment or whatever. And I try my best to stop that. I sometimes refuse sales for people if I know what's going to happen to that animal. Because at the end of the day, we're messing with live animals. They have a right to be treated well. Part of my reason for selling only quarantined, disease-free eating fish is so, one, the animals I know are looked after, but two, people will have the best chance to make sure they can keep looking after them properly. I have copper bands in here. The copper bands are not going anywhere until they're eating. And I usually have pretty good success with it. There's a lot of throwing bits of food in, different bits, and mixing foods and stuff. But I am pretty good at getting them to do that. And the only copper bands I really failed with recently was the ones that got diseases. But after they get disease, copper bands completely shut off when they are eating. So I had 3 large copper bands eating the last order before the disease, and I was ready to tell the people, hey, your copper band's ready. I'm just going to keep it a couple more days to make sure it's really eating well. And then I got the disease, they stopped eating, and they died. So that was heartbreaking. There is a lot of heartbreak in this hobby as well, when you lose stuff and you know it was kind of your fault. The reason I spent so much time and money recently to fix the QT system is because I don't want to do that anymore. But anyway, I think that's a nice little pros and cons list from just walking in here with the camera in the morning and before I do my routine feeding. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, do the YouTube things. I will try to post more and better quality. And I'll see you next time. Happy reefing!